Welcome back, I'm Streaky. On today's channel I'm going to be showing you a really simple EQ trick to add loads of energy to a stereo file, whether that's in mixing or mastering. You're going to love this one. If you're enjoying my channel, make sure that you subscribe and hit the like button. It really helps me out and makes me want to do more videos. I do them every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, 6 PM UK time. Right, let's get on with it. Let's get into Logic this week. So here we are inside of Logic. I've got a stereo track that was sent in by a viewer. If you want to send yours in, then please send them to demos@Streaky and I'll use them on my channel. Make sure they've got no copyright stuff. So here we're going for some instant energy. I do this a lot just to sort of liven tracks up and really sort of get them a bit of attitude and aggression. You know, when I haven't got the mix to play with, haven't got the stems to play with, and I've just got to kind of give them a bit of vibe. This is what I do. So you've got to go careful with this. It can be quite lethal. Okay, so let's get a plugin up. We'll go for the standard EQ, so linear phase EQ in Logic. Now what we want to do is go for the dual mono, not the stereo. The linear phase we're using because we're using a stereo track in a kind of mastering situation, so it's a lot more, it's a lot cleaner and a lot better sounding. So go for the dual mono, one of those. What that does is it gives you the option then for using it in mid-side, as in the central channel and what's happening on the side of the music. So you'll see what I mean in a second. So if you can't see this mid-side here, then what you need to go into the settings here and select mid-side from here. So you're not doing left and right stereo, you're doing mid and side. So then click on the mid and that will take you into this section. So we now know whatever EQ we put on here is just going to be doing the central channel, the mid channel, not the outside side stuff. So what we want to do, if we listen to this track first of all, we'll get used to how that sounds. So you can hear there's sort of a vocal, it's quite lively. Okay, so what we want to do, we want to get this kind of really sort of pumpy and fighty. So turn all these ones off. What we're looking for is just a top shelf. And we want to put this to a frequency around 1.7K. So around there. Lift it by, well, I usually lift it by about a dB, but what we'll do, we'll lift it by 2 so you can really, or 3, just so you can really hear what's happening. I would never ever suggest that you do this by 3 because there's so many things going on in the central section in the tops that you're really going to pull a lot of stuff out. So change the Q here, so that's the width of the slope. Change that so it's hitting around, so the bottom of it's starting around 800 Hertz there. That means it's going to be quite sharp, lifting up. But what we're doing, we're lifting up the whole of the mid channel on a shelf. So as I said, I'm doing this at 2 dB at the moment, but really I'd only do it maximum 1 dB or half a dB. So if you listen to the vocal when I play this, let's hear what that's doing. So as I said, you can hear what that's doing. It's making all the guitars really aggressive and exciting in the mids, and also the vocals popping out, but it's probably a little bit too much. So let's just pop that down to 1 where I'd normally have it, and let's just have another listen. So you can hear how effective that is. It's really full on. I mean, that's only 1 dB. Really, if I was doing this, I would probably do it just by like half a dB, really, because it'd still be effective. Let's listen to that. Because it's the subtleties that matter, so you can hear that. Now let's just turn that one off, and I'll show you. You can do it in any linear phase EQ. So let's just change this to linear phase, put it on high. And yeah, this is the Q2 rather than the Q3 that I normally use, but you can see what I'm doing. So what I want to do is, again, grab a shelf. So if I change the shape of this to a high shelf, and then I want that 1.7K, and then I want the bottom frequency where it's going up. So let's just change the Q so it's a little bit wider, around 800. So you can see at the bottom here where it's starting. That's about right. And then we want the gain to be, again, we'll go at 2 just so that we can hear the difference. I mean, the difference between different EQs, there's subtleties, and so it really depends on what your preference is to EQ, to which one you like. The standard stuff in Logic Pro Tools is really good. They don't sound bad at all. But you know, FabFilter's great. That sounds good. There's plenty of others out there. So again, if you are on this, you need to make sure you have the channel mode set up correctly. So you've got it in mid-side, the same as the other plugin, rather than left-right. So when we put that into mid-side, we can then do the stereo placement and put it into the mids. So it says a little M here, which is very useful. Whereas this one, you just know it's the mid side from doing it there. So let's have a listen to this one. So you can hear that's 2 dB up. That's doing exactly the same as the other one, a bit louder. I mean, you know, the difference between the EQs is very subtle, but you can, if you play them back to back, you'll hear exactly the difference between the sound of the 2 EQs. But so you can hear even at 1 dB, it's changing the sound quite a lot. I'll just play it in and out so you can really hear. So you can hear it's really making what is a flat mix, essentially, you know, really energetic and really in your face, which is great for sort of guitar music like this. Works well on dance music too. So now let's compare the 2 different sounds of the 2 different EQs. Always a bit of fun. So I've got them both set at exactly the same settings here. As you can see, it's 1.7K plus 2 dB this time, just so we, you know, go over the top so we can hear exactly what's happening. And it's number 1 on the Q. So that's the same either side. If you're liking this video, please do me a favor, make sure that you press the like button below and subscribe. I do these videos every week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so then you'll get notified. Okay, now let's listen to the difference between these 2. Let's flick in between them, and then you'll be able to hear for yourself which sounds better for doing this, the FabFilter or the Logic Linear EQ. Right, here we go. So there you go, there's the difference between the sound of the 2. I don't know which one you prefer. I personally thought the Fab Filter had the edge on it. It sounded a little bit more detailed in the very highs, but very good. I mean, very close, but I probably prefer the Fab Filter myself, which is not a surprise to me, seeing I use it a lot. But if you really want to get a track that sounds a little bit flat, you want to make that less muddy, more exciting, then make sure you watch the next video that I did last week on Muddy EQ. That's coming up next, so make sure you click on that. If you've liked this video, please do me a favour, press the like button below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I do these every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, 6 o'clock UK time. So if you like stuff within Logic, if you want things in Pro Tools or any other DAW, let me know in the comments. Always happy to know what's going on. See you in the next one. Bye.